Namrata,
Yes, sir.
can you please introduce yourself?
My name is Namrata and I'm from Rajasthan. I've done my schooling till 10th class from Nimka Thana in Sikar and 11th and 12th from Jaipur. Thereafter, I did my graduation from National Law University, Jodhpur. And it was during this time that I was a part of multiple extracurricular activities involving legal aid and awareness work, which increased my interest in community work. And therefore, I decided to pursue civil services.
This is your, how many attempts you have made earlier?
So this is my first attempt.
This is your first attempt.
Yes, sir.
And first attempt and first interview.
Yes, sir.
Very well done. You have a backing from a national law school.
Yes, sir.
You remember Mr. Chandrachud delivered a talk in the national law school emphasizing on a law point,
Okay, sir.
saying that if you give a judgment, you should have a cogent reason for it. If we take that as a yardstick, he gave a judgment saying that survey should be done. It is outside the purview of the which act?
Sir, there was a Worship Act.
Worship Act.
Prevention.
Places of Worship Act.
Places of Worship Act.
So one Chief Justice gives this, the other Chief Justice comes after a month and he says, no, survey is not on in this act, please hold on.
Right, sir.
Now, do you think law is an ass?
Sir, from my reading on the matter, Justice Chandrachud's opinion were obiter and they were not the ratio of that judgment. He merely said that conducting surveys does not amount to changing the character of a religious place and therefore is not in violation of the act. And he later on went to clarify also that it was not a part of the ratio of the judgment, it was merely an observation. Judges in the court sometimes play a role of devil's advocate. They try to ask questions to go to the depth of the arguments that the advocates are presenting before them, and which, however, was taken by the subordinate judiciary and the district courts to mean that they can give permissions for surveys, which led to a number of cases being filed under the Act, and therefore the sitting Chief Justice of India has to intervene and say that let us first decide the constitutional validity of the Act, and a stay has been put on surveys, and he hasn't said that they are completely against the Act.
Please read it properly.
I'll do so.
Okay. What he has said and what Justice Chandrachud said.
Okay, sir.
Okay.
Nice.
One good reason you find in yourself that you want to become an IAS officer?
Sir, throughout my school and graduation years, I believe that I have been a student who has strived for excellence. And I think that's a quality that will help me as a civil servant. I have deep interest in doing work with the community. My work with the Legal Aid and Awareness Committee of my university was a 5-year-long commitment where I got to work with multiple stakeholders, especially villagers, schools, women entrepreneurs who were engaged in small industrial hubs.
Understood.
Right, sir.
Can you name any IAS officer who has contributed in any meaningful manner in the country, in the independent India? Any IAS officer, can you name?
वीडियो में आगे बढ़ने से पहले यूपीएससी का रिजल्ट आ चुका है। अनअकैडमी की तरफ से सभी यूपीएससी एस्पिरेंट्स को हार्दिक बधाइयां और इस खास दिन को सेलिब्रेट करने के लिए हम लाए हैं अब तक का सबसे बड़ा ऑफर। प्रीलिम्स 2026 की तैयारी सिर्फ 19,999 में और साथ ही मिलेगा 12 महीने तक का फ्री एक्सटेंशन भी। इंडिया के टॉप एजुकेटर्स और बेस्ट कंटेंट के साथ ये है अब तक का लोवेस्ट प्राइस। तो देर किस बात की, आज ही एनरोल करें। आईएएस बनने का पहला कदम आज से। लिंक डिस्क्रिप्शन में है। एनरोल नाउ।
Sir, there are many. I was recently reading a book by Miss Ranjana Kothari, if I'm correct. The book was Women of Influence.
I'm saying you to name a person. What Anjana Kothari has written, what so and so has written, I'm not interested in. Please name one IAS officer who has contributed significantly in post-independent India.
So the one name that comes to my mind is Miss Uma Mahadevan ma'am. She's posted in Karnataka and she has done incredible work on literacy and community libraries on ground. The other scheme, which is Beti Bachao, Beti
Do you
Padhao.
know that literacy and community work, etc., is not the job of an Indian Administrative Service officer? It relates to revenue. There is a separate department for education. There is a separate department for primary health, etc., etc.
Right, sir. So
Please, when you are trying to,
Yes.
justify a position, be sure on your facts. Okay?
Right, sir.
All the best, sir.
Namrata, I must say that I'm rather impressed with your hobbies, habits, achievements outside the field of work. 7 gold medals, academic excellence, Fally Nariman Award for the best respondent memorial. What the heck are you doing here? Why aren't you in the Supreme Court? We need good lawyers there to defend about the constitutional positions.
So I find myself interested in the work that civil servants do. I find
Sorry,
it.
you are interested in what?
I find myself interested in the kind of work that the civil services will offer me to do. I think it is a relatively very diverse and dynamic platform for me to use my knowledge of law and skills that I've acquired in law school. I don't
How many IAS officers present themselves in the Supreme Court on a daily basis to defend or to protect themselves from the onslaught of the law? You are working as an intern to the Additional Solicitor General.
Yes, sir.
So I'm asking you,
Sir,
do you go to the Supreme Court sometime or not?
Sir, I've worked with Mr. Vikramjit Banerjee for an internship, and it was during 2020. I'm currently not working.
But even at that time,
Right, sir.
if you had gone to the Supreme Court, did you notice how many IAS officers are there on a daily basis?
Sir, I wouldn't know the numbers, but because government is the prime litigator in the country, I believe IAS officers would have been.
Okay, anyway, I mean, that was just an aside. Now, being a lawyer, tell me, this act on one nation, one election,
Right, sir.
is it going to work?
Sir, it's under consideration. A parliamentary committee is reviewing it. I think it will work, in my opinion. We have had experience of one nation, one election in past. Till 1967, we used to have simultaneous elections.
Yes. And then we began to have separate elections at different times in the states and in the center, basically because one way or the other, the governments in the states began to go down even before the 5 years were over.
Right.
They fell out of sync with the center. There were several presidents rule in the center. The governments fell after 2 or 3 years and they all went out of sync.
Right, sir.
So how are you going to maintain this synchronization?
So the proposed bill makes a provision for this and accounts for it. It says that if a government falls before completing its 5-year tenure, then the new elected government will only serve for the remaining tenure. It will not have a complete 5-year tenure. And I think that is one way of ensuring that there is sync between parliamentary elections and elections at the state level.
You mean that if the government at the center by some means falls after 2 years, the next elections will be only for 3 years?
So I'll have to read about that.
Please do.
Right, sir.
Please do, because you're a lawyer.
Right, sir.
So I thought that you will educate me on this. It seems like impossible to me really. But anyway, now having done law, I'm sure you are also familiar with the international law.
Right, sir.
Okay. Why have we not been able to adopt a comprehensive convention on international terrorism so far?
So India has been advocating for a comprehensive convention and on multiple platforms, UN being one of them.
It's only in the UN. Comprehensive convention also only in the UN. It can't go anywhere else.
Right, sir. So the major roadblocks that I see is that there is lack of consensus between different players. For instance, on the definition of terrorism, the major powers, major global powers, especially United States, China,
Okay,
there is no...
fine. Okay, I get it. Let us keep it short. So what can we do to get over the difficulty of defining the CCI terrorism?
Sir, we'll have to engage in considering that terrorism is a threat to all countries involved, we'll have to keep pushing for consensus building on this matter.
No, I said, what can we do to get over the difficulty of defining the international terrorism?
So the major point that comes to my mind is with respect to state-sponsored terrorism. And we want it to be included in the convention, while some countries are objecting for its inclusion.
All right.
So maybe we can rephrase its wordings to ensure that while our concerns are accounted for, there is consensus from major players, for instance, United States and China.
Thank you.
Namrata, we could only get your form DAF 2. So we don't know what is your optional.
So my optional is law.
Okay. And this is your first attempt and first interview.
Yes, sir.
Very good. You have come very far
Thank you, sir.
in first attempt. What is Brexit? Do you know?
So Brexit was Britain's withdrawal from the European Union.
Correct. So, and why did that happen?
So UK had multiple reservations to the way European Union was functioning. It was mainly because of the financial burden that it was putting on the UK. They had a common market. Other was also immigration. There was a lot of immigration.
Labor movement. Yeah, good. That is nice. Okay, India is attempting a India-UK free trade agreement.
Yes, sir.
Is it something desirable, UK being a developed country and India is a developing one? So in terms of the productivity and the costing of the products, you think it's a good level to work on?
So I think it's a desirable move for India from Indian perspective. It will open the United Kingdom, the UK market for Indian goods. We are coming up as a major manufacturing power. We see a lot of growth happening in coming years. So it will certainly benefit our exporters a lot.
But that's 65 to 70 million market, whereas India is 1.4 billion. They will also pour their products in a larger market. They will benefit more.
Right. So I think there will be concerns. We can negotiate our way out of them.
Yeah, there are checks and balances
Checks and
which have to be done. That is why it is also getting delayed.
Yes, sir.
Now, during our Prime Minister visit, India-US have agreed for a trade deal, not a free trade deal.
Yes, sir.
Trade deal by November. So, have you read what kind of products are likely to be that in that trade deal?
So it was reported even only today. I read only preferable. I only have little bit information about it. It's for specific goods. I think from American sites, American agricultural goods are to be included, and cars and automobiles will be covered. From Indian perspective, I think electronics, pharmaceuticals, active pharmaceutical ingredients will get coverage under this.
Okay. Also, perhaps liquefied natural gas, which Trump and US is promoting.
Yes, sir.
Now, last question. You know what is BRICS?
So BRICS is a regional grouping of India, China, Russia, and Brazil. Some other countries have also joined it recently. Indonesia is one of them. I think Qatar and Saudi Arabia are two other countries.
Okay. So why is President Trump so much upset with BRICS?
Sir, one of major mandate of BRICS is to create a non-Western global order, and that's something that runs contrary to Mr. Trump's agenda of an American-centric global order, and I think that's the prime reason. Second is also with respect to the negotiations that have gone on BRICS have been on trade and a common currency, which Mr. Trump views as will be adverse to American interests. So I think
that's correct. Common currency. Well done. Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
Namrata,
Yes, sir.
you are a law student, constitutional law,
Yes, sir.
and law was also your optional.
Yes, sir.
Okay. What is counterpart of 498A in the new law?
Sorry, sir. 98?
498A.
498A. So I'm not able to recall the exact number, but 498A is about domestic violence against women by husband and their relatives.
And the matrimonial home.
Matrimonial home.
Okay. So I will like to discuss this. with you. Its misuse
Yes, sir.
has become talk of the town,
Yes, sir.
sort of. Every day, even Supreme Court is coming up with displeasure on its misuse. What is happening is, it is showing potential of disrupting the very foundation of family life in India. If a young married woman gets, for whatever reason, unhappy with her wife, FIR under 498A and DV Act will follow. That will make elderly father an accused, elderly mother-in-law, father means husband's father,
Yes.
mother-in-law who may be bedridden, accused, sister who may be settled somewhere, an NRI, accused, brother who may be preparing for UPSC or maybe probationer in some academy, accused. The entire thing, entire family becomes accused. And the most unfortunate thing is, domestic violence mostly happens lower and lower middle class. Of course, wretched persons are everywhere. And that too generally under drunken brawl kind of situation.
Right, sir.
Alcohol, consume alcohol, come home and use while and vent your anger over your wife or frustration over your wife. But this misuse is happening mostly by working women. They are earning, they are from very good families, and they cannot say that they don't know law. So, what is happening? Even a lady Supreme Court judge, I was reading that she expressed concern. I'm not recalling her name, but there was a major news item. She expressed concern. And we are senior citizens. We know senior ladies who have their marriageable sons are worried. Worried for their own safety. If tomorrow my son and my bahu fights among themselves, then I will go to jail. So what's happening?
So, as you pointed out, a provision which was meant for protection of women in their domestic households has been misused, and that misuse is increasing because law has become more accessible with time. There is increased literacy, women are more aware about their rights and are more assertive with their rights, and that's a positive development. But this dark side of it, which is manipulation of the laws which are meant for protection of women, is certainly a cause of concern and demands greater judicial scrutiny, I would say. We cannot do away with these laws. These are very important. We have the NCRB data revealing that crimes against women, the highest number of crimes are in this category, in intimate relationships. So these laws are very much needed. But it's also very important that
these are progressive laws,
these are
well-intentioned laws,
yes, sir,
but have gone into misuse.
Yes, sir. So we'll have to put checks against these misuse. The judicial scrutiny in such cases needs to be higher. There has to be greater need for direct and cogent evidence against people who are named in such charges, and people against charges are filed. And once the judiciary takes account of it, we can prevent misuse of such laws.
Only yesterday I was reading an article in Times of India or some paper. The Supreme Court observed that the wives who go for frivolous FIR should be taken to the task.
Cost can be imposed on them once it's proved that it was a false case. That will also go a long way to ensure.
But in many states there is a policy that a women coming from the weaker section of society will not be prosecuted for false cases.
So I'll have to read about that. I haven't come across.
So it gives a free hand. Anyway, it's a very difficult topic. You are from this thing law background, so I thought to have a brief discussion with you on it. All the best. Please.
Right, I like conversation with lawyers. And I'll pick up something from your DAF.
Okay, sir.
You mentioned Folly Nariman.
Yes.
And this is a question I asked today morning also. He said that law is a refuge of second-rate arts student. Ali Nariman, very respected.
Yes, sir.
What's your view on his statement? Are you a second-rate art student?
Sir, I will have to. I am from humanities background.
Okay.
So
it applies to you?
So I am an art student. I've done my graduation also in Bachelor of Arts. But I wouldn't think that, at least the peers that I've studied with, I wouldn't call them second rate. They were very excellent students. They have big ambitions of.
So you don't agree with that very famous lawyer who must
Sir,
be quoted in many places in study of law?
I'll have to disagree with him on this one.
You'll have to disagree with him, okay. One of the Chief Justices of India had said that after marriage, the man does not own his wife. And the wife is free to have physical relationship outside marriage. Do you agree or disagree with that, one of the former Chief Justices of India?
Sir, I can. I'll have to read about the context in which the statement was made. But I don't think that adultery is something that should be normalized, at least considering our social fabric. It is a valid ground of even divorce under the Hindu Marriage Act and our personal laws. So it's something which is still considered to be a social wrong, if not a legal wrong, because it has been decriminalized. But to say that it's okay to do it or indulge in it, I think would be a problematic statement to make.
Okay, I read a research which says that if your spouse is a lawyer, there are 33% more chances that you'll have a divorce.
Okay, sir.
Have you read about it?
No, sir.
Why has somebody said this?
Sir, as I mentioned earlier, maybe because women lawyers are more aware about their rights. They are not. They will not be okay taking wrong treatment from the other side, and maybe that's probably one of the reasons.
Okay, or are they more argumentative because of nature of their job? Is it that you don't want to lose an argument?
Sir, all my friends are very balanced individuals.
With you.
Including, sorry.
But why is it happening that today husbands have started committing suicide because of harassment by the wife? The whole world seems to be turning on its head. You saw those 3 WhatsApp videos? Man sitting on a railway track recording his death on a suicide and the train overruns him.
Sir, I have not watched this video.
You're very busy studying. Okay, there is one man court somewhere in India, just one man court, who has the power to even punish by death in certain circumstances. Who's that one man court?
I'm sorry, I'll have to read about it.
It's the commanding officer of a unit in the Indian Army.
Okay, sir.
One man court who can give that punishment under certain circumstances. Are you a nationalist or are you a patriotic?
Sir, I'll consider myself a patriotic. A patriotic is a person who has this emotional bond with the country. Nationalist, on the other hand, sometimes can consider their country to be superior than than other nations. I don't think, going by our own cultural learnings, we believe in the concept of Vasudeva Kutumbakam. We consider the world as one family. So I think I'm a patriotic. I love my country. I have a deep spiritual and emotional connect with it and the people of India. But if I have to put myself in one category, I'll put myself in the category.
Okay, one thing you would like to change in Indian legal system?
So there are many challenges. The one thing that if I get the opportunity to work on will be the number of pendency of cases. It's a major challenge. At the end of the day, if there are too many cases before the courts, justice becomes elusive for vast majority of the people. So that's something that I would like to work on.
Okay, thank you.
Namrata, you are a very good candidate.
Thank you, sir.
And first chance, first, interview, very rare. This is a rare commodity, so you come in that rare commodity. You have a way of putting things across, but please remember, when a question is put to you, please listen to the question and give an answer, if possible, in a bullet form, point 1 at best 2. If asked, then you explain it further.
Okay.
On an opinion-based question, opinion can be yours, but it should be logical. Since your DAF says that you have done constitutional law and emphasis is on that. That is why the opening question was on places of worship act, which is nearer to the things which is being talked about. And it is in the news. So you should be solid on your facts, because the common perception is that two justices are giving contradictory orders. If this thing percolates down to the lowest man, the faith in the judiciary will vanish in thin air in no time. So it sends a very, very strong signal. On women, the questions were asked. There has been a recent judgment by a learned High Court judge saying that if a woman is over 50 years, even if the husband asks for an unnatural sex with the lady concerned, the lady has no right to protest.
Yes.
So see what is happening in the judiciary. So judiciary is also going through a lot of turmoil. Be critical of it and frame your answers which, has a meaningful support. Okay? Defending is one, but taking a stand is another, and which has to be yours. You have all the elements to crack. Wish you all the best.
Thank you.
So,
Thank you very much. Namrata, I must say you are one lawyer I enjoyed talking to. My wife is a lawyer, we always have an argument. But anyway, that's because you're so much younger, I can't afford to argue with you. One or two things. You're a bright person, and the good thing about you is that you are able to defend your positions very well, and in a very capable manner or very logical manner. Sometimes it becomes necessary to take a position.
Okay.
And therefore, if you find yourself and you have to take a position, don't be shy of it.
Okay.
Because there are people who can't defend their position, then I will advise them not to take a position, but you can. So take a position and defend it, and you will do very, very well. Just one or two things I wanted to just indicate to you. One nation, one election is a very difficult proposition. It is simply not an issue of constitutional amendment.
Right.
It's basically the whole political situation in the world. Because when I asked you the question about the Lok Sabha, it's easy to say about the state elections,
Right.
that you can make them change their duration of functioning.
Right.
You can't do that to Lok Sabha.
Right.
Lok Sabha, it will be up in turmoil. So it's not all that possible. So think about it and take a position, number one. And even if you have to say that it's not a practical thing, say it if you can justify it.
Okay, sir.
Number one. On the Convention on the Terrorism, I was there in the UN when we started the process in 1993. We have not been able to adopt it. I think of the possibility of saying that rather than looking at the definition of terrorism, we can deal with it on the basis of consequences of such an action.
Okay.
Like we give the example of the attack on the Twin Towers in New York. No action was actually an action or act of international terrorism. But the consequences were that of the international terrorism.
Okay.
So attack it from the terrorism, that angle. Otherwise, I think it was very good on the whole. Keep it up. Your interview is 27th of February.
Yes, sir.
Don't overdo it, that's all. Okay, all the best.
Namrata, you are an excellent candidate. You have replied to the questions very nicely, correctly. I asked about the Brexit and India-UK free trade agreement, then the trade deal, India-US, BRICS, and also on the other aspects connected with that. So you are able to explain, you have nice confidence, and you know that you need to listen and give the correct answer. Try to be brief to the extent possible. Once you have completed the answer, then you wait. There will be a supplement or a follow-up questions. I think you are very good, and there is nothing to fear. You must get into this time. All the best.
Namrata, good to go. Not much time left. So use this time to keep yourself abreast of what all is happening around.
Right, sir.
And keep following it. And if something interesting comes to your notice, which needs more understanding, do read some good articles on that. I will recommend. You can look for them, such good articles in opinion part of Hindu and explained part of Indian Express. They usually carry very good articles. All right, that will help you. Otherwise, in my understanding, you are good to go. Go there with confidence.
Nothing to add. All that I would say is that, today a lot of questions were asked on law. It might happen that people will ask you nothing about law.
Yes, sir.
They'll ask you about everything else because law is your subject, you'll be good at it. So be prepared for a vast range of things from economics to a lot of politics, foreign affairs have been asked. So keep your mind open for, what all can be asked, whatever is happening around the world, economics, major issue, this visit, that visit, Prime Minister meeting here, there are 10 people. Everybody's forgotten about South Africa. There are a lot of wars going on in South Africa. So the canvas is very vast, okay?
Yes, sir.
You will be lucky if they only focus on law, okay? So you prepare on a wider canvas. You'll do extremely well, go with confidence. You're dressed very nicely, you're full of grace. You don't have to change anything, all right? All the best.
So
Any
if
question?
I may ask
Yeah.
something. So I was told in my previous mock that my voice can be a little louder and I don't come out my voice is feeble when I'm talking to the panel. So if that was the same or has it improved?
See, your voice is okay.
Okay.
You can give a little modulation to the voice. That will be if you give it a pause. That will be sufficient. There is nothing to worry about your voice. So long as you are audible and the panelist on the other side, please remember they are all 60 plus.
Yes.
So keep that in mind and then accordingly modulate your voice.
Okay, sir.
Okay?
Yes.
All the best.
Can I say one thing here? You have only 12 days now left for the interview.
Yes, sir.
You try and change anything now, and you will change other things also.
Yes, sir.
So don't do it.
Okay.
Don't do it, okay?
See, the best advice is be your normal self.
Yes, sir.
Have confidence in you.